All right, and we're live. And welcome to another insightful episode of Bamboo Street. I know we haven't been online like as we used to be because times change and things change. So we got to develop with the times. Anyway, Volta, what do you want to talk about today?
Yeah, we're gonna start with Mr. President Trump.
Okay.
China thought they had a deal. China is like, what happened? You just change your mind all of a sudden? Yeah, so China and US had a trade pause for 90
Yeah.
days,
Mm-hmm.
and that was cool. Until I think 2 days ago, a US federal judge put a clamp down on Trump, saying Trump cannot sanction or put tariffs on any other country. So China was happy about it. China is like, yeah, that's what the rule of law is all about. I'm like, look at China talking about rule of law.
Mm-hmm.
So most countries were happy because they were like, Trump has no right to put tariffs on any country because he's not supposed to do that. Congress is supposed to do that. China and Co were happy. So Trump was like, oh, so it took a judge from a Democrat party to put all this in place. So he came out with a policy that Chinese students, their visa is going to be revoked. So, like, basically, if you are a Chinese student and you have ties to the Communist Party, you cannot study in the US.
Mm-hmm. I heard about that
Especially,
one.
is it?
I heard about that one. Go on.
Especially in the STEM fields and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So China went back to that is not how the rule of law works, and Trump needs to stop that because he's jeopardizing the future of Chinese students. Their dreams and hope is to study in the US and blah 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 blah. So that's what's happening right now, and the problem is most universities are trying to take Trump to court. Harvard took Trump to court over the decision, and and the judge ruled in favor of Harvard. And Trump is like, okay, you won in the US, but I'm the president, so I can tell the embassies not to interview anybody. So Trump told the embassies not to interview any student because
They still need their visas.
so that is what's happening right now. That's where we are right now with uh Trump, and because the judges, what is happening right now is they are going through the Democrat elected judges, so they are just ruling against Trump. So Trump is like, okay, well, since you are winning in the US, I'm just going to tell the embassies not to interview no students. So they put a hold on student interviews and student admission for the year. So I have a
I
small video I want to play
mhm,
you, then you get your
mhm.
thoughts from there.
Okay.
Intensifying his administration interview. Tonight, President Trump's crackdown on international students is intensifying, his administration ordering embassies to stop interviews for student visas as the State Department prepares for an expanded social media screening for applicants, according to an internal cable seen by NBC News. It comes after a judge temporarily barred President Trump from blocking Harvard University from accepting future international students, which make up over a quarter of its student body.
We have Americans that want to go there and to other places, and they can't go there because you have 31% foreign.
Zaleen Ma is graduating with a PhD from Harvard, but worries he'll have to go back to China instead of conducting postdoctoral research on AI here in the U.S. What would your message to President Trump be?
We international students, we have followed every rule. We got our visa, we passed all the background checks, and we shouldn't be the ones who are facing such uncertainties.
In a new escalation, the Trump administration is reviewing $100 million in federal contracts with Harvard.
We give them billions of dollars, which is ridiculous.
The president also posting he's, quote, considering taking $3 billion of grant money away from a very anti-Semitic Harvard and giving it to trade schools instead. A university task force recently found bullying and intimidation of Jewish students on Harvard's campus, But the university's president is describing the Trump administration's actions as retaliation for our refusal to surrender our academic independence.
Why cut off research funding? Sure, it hurts Harvard, but it hurts the country.
The president is also now threatening to withhold large-scale federal funding from California if the state keeps ignoring his executive order banning transgender athletes from participating in women's sports. The Democratic governor has defended California's policy.
You're talking about a very small number of people, a very small number of athletes. And my responsibility is to address the pressing issues of our time.
Also today, President Trump had another warning for Vladimir Putin after new attacks on Ukraine, saying he's, quote, playing with fire. Lester?
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah, I mean, you can hate the guy, but you still gotta love the guy. You know why?
Yeah.
As a president, you're supposed to be able to lead by example.
Yeah.
This is point number one, because you see, just like with all the things that were going on in South Africa, and you as the president, you don't agree with it, you have to be able to find a way to just shut it all down.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. It's like, oh yeah, we're a democratic country and everything, but I am the president, I am the leader, I'm the one who's supposed to be at the end of the day saying what is the law. You know, so he finding ways to get things done, I applaud him for that. But I don't agree with everything that he does, though. Like, for example, with the student visa part.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want, you could just say that Harvard in the future going forward, because you're afraid of the US stealing your best tech, those how you call those elite universities, you just put them off the table. Leave those for your local citizens and the best of the US and maybe countries that you guys have strong ties with. I mean, people will be able to understand that, but at least we should know where the bar is. These things shouldn't like happen all of a sudden, because like for instance, like a lot of these Chinese students who are studying to go abroad, you know how many hoops these guys need to go through just to be able to get there. And a lot of them is like a lot of money involved. And most students who could actually go to Harvard University, their parents must have some kind of wealthy background. Because the scores and all these things is off the chain for Chinese students to get in. But I'm still surprised. What surprised me was with the numbers, though. A quarter of the body of the Harvard students, they're from Asia. A quarter. Yo, I didn't know that number was still that high.
Yeah, the number has been high for a very long time, because it's not just about the abilities of the student. They pay a lot of money, which of course everyone wants, right? But then the locals, they don't pay nothing, because it's like college is supposed to be much cheaper, and it comes with student loans and everything. And some like majority of them are on scholarship anyway, so they make more money from international students, you know. So
but if you realize, most of the universities he's focused on is those prestige universities. He's not talking about those low down universities. So his whole point is that you guys are stealing our tech, and our best of the tech comes from these universities, the Stanfords and the Harvards. So we're gonna protect our elite. And I get it. The part about the trans shit, man, he wrote the executive order. They're not listening.
Nah.
They're not listening. And to me, it's like gender was there to distinguish men from women. And even if the California guy is saying, oh, it's just a small body of people. Yeah, but it's a small body of people who is affecting the livelihood of a large body of people, and that small body of people have a distinct competitive edge. So for him, want to take their funding and do all of that, I agree with it, because we cannot be setting the rules for a small body. We have to be setting the rules for the global paradigm of the global body. We can't be doing it like how they wanted to say, oh, we include you. Yeah, we could include you, but you're biologically a male, so play with the males.
Yeah,
You
that
could
guy.
be a trans if you want. You can look like a girl and run with the guys because you're naturally a guy, and no one will have a problem with that.
Yeah, Governor Newsom is just a cock. And guess what? What he's trying to do is because the next Olympics is to LA, right? So
Mhm.
he's just all this is just tourism play for him. You know, he really doesn't care about the rules. He just want more people to come and spend more money in LA because he's afraid if this law goes into effect, the trans people are gonna probably try to
Leave
shun,
California.
not really leave, not come. I think it's next year for the Olympics. So he's afraid if the law goes into effect in California, a lot of those people are gonna stay away from the Olympics, which is
They're
gonna,
gonna boycott it. Who
yeah,
cares? Who
yeah.
cares?
So
There's more straight people in the world than trans
that's true.
people, but there's probably more trans people with deep pockets.
Yeah, they spend a lot of money. They spend a lot of money. They do
Because
spend a lot.
everything they have to do, they have to spend money to do it.
Yeah,
They
surgery
have
is
to
expensive.
spend money to have kids, spend money to have surgery.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Spend money to keep up that lifestyle. But the good thing about them is like when they have a kid, it's a planned kid. They don't just have it accidentally.
no, they really plan for it. We know we're gonna save some money. So
uh,
so China is not happy about what is going on right now, and China understand the play because the trade tariff thing is paused for 90 days. So China
mhm.
understand Trump is playing a very dirty game right now. I think
Yeah,
this is just still a trade play, you know. He
that's
has not.
that's for them to accept his terms within 90 days because 90 days is like the period for kids to move into university. If
Yeah,
90 days pass, that whole batch of people who's supposed to go to Harvard, that
yeah,
that whole batch, their academic invitation letter expires.
yeah,
They
that's
ain't
true.
getting they ain't getting that opportunity again.
Yeah,
And it will cause a lot of hiccups if you realize like, oh, the the university in China, the number one, Peking,
Chingwa.
Tsinghua,
Yeah,
these guys were like, okay, all of those who had an invitation letter to Harvard, blah blah blah, we're opening our invitation to you guys. You can come to our university now. They're trying
yeah,
to scoop them up.
yeah.
They don't
But
even
those,
know the number, but they're trying to scoop them up and say,
yeah,
"Oh, this is talent. I taking that talent, bro."
yeah. But those people still knew Chingwa was there before they selected Harvard. You know,
Yeah,
they,
the plan was to not study in the Chinese system.
yeah,
We're trying to get away from it.
yeah. We all know how that goes. You know, so um, yeah. So I don't know. It's gonna be pretty hard because I understand the emotions of some parents. Some parents are like, you know, we work hard. Some of us took loans. We have nothing to do with the CCP. You know, so it's like we are not I don't know how to say it.
Affiliated.
Some are saying we are not affiliated, but like how would I put it? It's like you are not part of something, but you are part of something. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you can see
Well,
I don't have a membership, but then the government says you are a member whether you like it or not.
once you're born in China, you're a member.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So some
You're
parents are like, no,
automatically a member.
we save a lot of money. We even took a loan and a second mortgage on our house just to be able to do this thing. So to 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 come up with a blanket statement that we are all under we are all affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party is not true. Which I understand their sentiment, but on the other hand, it's like, you know,
But they themselves kind of hurt themselves. Like, for example, if you realize what goes on, like a lot of them travel, they go to the US. What the US don't mind, if they go to the US and after they graduate, they stay in the US and they do what they want to do, they have no problem. But
yeah,
the issue is when they go to the US, they develop, they get the ideas, and then they
and
come back to China and they open tech companies like DeepSeek, you
yeah,
know? And then with a DeepSeek, you know, the US was like, okay, we ban you guys from using the NVIDIA XXX chip.
Yeah.
And then the story behind the web is that they actually use the chip. So that means
Yeah. They
when they were
bought
in the US, they
yeah.
got all those connections. You know, you build all these friendships. You find
Yeah.
people who can get it to you.
Yeah. And then yeah, what you're saying is true. And the other part too is the, how would I put it? The savior complex. Let's say I get an idea from you
Hmm.
and I move back home and I'm able to build something. And you should be gracious enough to tell the world it's not like, man, you know, I stayed in the US. This is not, I'm not directly competing with them. But they are like, what US is doing, they are spending a lot of money on this thing, which is supposed to be cheaper. China does it better, China does it well, China does it cheaper. I'm like, but you are using your technology to do all
in a
these.
in a shorter space of time.
Yeah. And then you are criticizing them for you doing it cheaper. You should be happy that they opened the floodgate for you to. That's the problem I have with China, especially even with um the military aviation and then these it's just weird. The F-18, F-22, F-35, and you get an idea from them because they've had this idea for a long time, and you name it yours the same categorization, and then you say they are doing much expensive, we do it cheaper, much better. I'm like, come on, you know where you got the idea from. You know, we
It's
all know
like
where you got it. That's why
stealing
Trump is pissed off right now.
stealing the patent and not giving the appreciation. That's what
Yeah,
makes it bad. And there's no copyright law or something that is
no,
in place for them to get a cut on
yeah,
whatever profit or proceeds. So if
yeah,
he stopped them from going to the university, as time goes on, China would just, like, the brilliant minds in China would only be the brilliant minds
in
from
China,
China.
yeah,
And
which is not a
then,
good thing.
which is not good for them. So something has to change.
Yeah,
And to me, the only person who can actually, well, in the US so far, who start initiating change was Trump,
yeah, yeah.
which leads to my, when you're done,
Okay,
I'll bring
and then
in that
look
one.
at it, like what is coming out from China this past few days. Huawei came out with a new chip, right?
Hmm.
And it's been blown out of proportion. Like, okay, US thought, and this is from CCTV, US thought US cannot stop China's progression, cannot do anything to stop China moving forward from developing their own domestically produced chips, designing their own chip, and the trade barrier they put and the import barrier they put on the chips has backfired on the US. Huawei is now directly competing with Nvidia. And Trump is like, you know, in 2020, I lifted the design. Okay, you can use the design, but you cannot use the machinery, but you can use the design and everything. Okay, since you think you develop everything yourself, okay, no more design for you. Oh no, can you guys just shut up and just do this thing in secrecy and just, if you want to take over the world, too much propaganda is what is derailing this whole system, you know. Too much propaganda.
Hmm.
They need to show off, you know. It's what is derailing this whole thing. And moving to that next thing, the same with the plane, the C919, the domestically produced plane. And they started showing off too. I'm like, just chill. Because we've all known that they're using the US engines. I'm like, can you just chill on the propaganda that we are not buying? They say, okay, they stop buying Boeing. We're like, we are not going to buy no Boeing. They stopped the order on Boeing. Okay, we're going to use Hainan Airline, TNG. They are all going to use the C919. And then Trump is
Hmm.
like, oh, okay, no more G engine for you. Now they were like, you are trying to block China's progression in developing their own airplanes just to be dependent on Boeing and Airbus. I'm like, yeah, you know where you got the engine from, you know where you got the body parts from, you know where you got the designs from. Just keep quiet, mass produce this thing, then you can talk. After one maiden flight, these people started comparing and contrasting which one is better. China is on the world stage. we are getting orders from Afghanistan, Pakistan. I'm like, yo, you guys, just chill. Because anyway, man, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, as you saying, the person who copy can't copy and boast. You're supposed to copy and lay low. let the nerdy guy boast about, yeah, man, I did this. And
Yeah.
the guy who copy just like, man, I passed, man.
I can't believe I passed that shit. I didn't study for none of that exam. I still passed.
Yeah, I passed, man. We're doing good as a third world country. Let a guy has his clothes and his bragging rights, man. Don't
Yeah,
steal that
this,
from him. You
yeah,
steal
this
that
the
from
problem.
him, he not gonna let you copy anymore.
That's the problem. They should just have chilled on these things and just quietly. You know, before they started boasting in the 1990s, early 2000s, there was no boast. They just quietly copy, quietly design, quietly. Okay, we are just mass producing this thing. Okay, you want to come to the Chinese business environment, you just do a cooperation with the local, and everybody was cool with it because those
Yeah.
days were not boasting. That's why
But
BMW and all these car company allowed their main factories to transfer the technology to Chinese companies because China was not boasting about nothing. They were just building, and the world was happy. Oh, China is going
yeah.
to build this thing, so we are happy. We're going to send our business there. All of a sudden, it just became like the boastful every day. Like, we do this, we did this every day. Like, come on now.
Well, you know what happens when you start making a lot of money, right? The ego comes in.
Yeah,
Right
ego
now, it's the
plays part.
ego. The ego
Yeah,
is that's going in right there.
yeah, and it's hurting them because you only have few allies in the world, like true
Mhm.
allies. China doesn't really have a true ally in the
But
sense
you
that,
know, like what I feel like China didn't learn, they didn't learn from Japan because the US actually taught Japan the ropes, and
yeah,
Japan got so good at doing it, and they were so quiet and respectful in doing it. Right now, they have the rings.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You
They
don't
don't
see
even
them.
try to.
Yeah,
They don't see they telling them anything or them having these kind of arguments because everybody know their role, do their thing, and
yeah,
yeah, we're going
yeah. But
smooth.
Japan had to learn the hard way though. Starting from '96, they were also on the road of, okay, I think we're going to separate from the US in terms of providing security. We are now the second largest economy in the world. We soon we are going to
Mm.
overtake the US, and US like, oh, that's what you think is going to happen. So they started putting what they are doing to China now. They did to Japan, but what happened with Japan is Japan didn't fight it. Japan was like,
Oh,
yeah, you know what? Okay, let's just talk about it. You know, yo, because Japan used to supply like Sony TVs to the US, so Japan really decimated the US TV production, the car
mm,
production, everything, washing machine, everything. And the US like, what's happening? Because Japan is like, okay, we are now the second largest economy in the world. By the year 2005, we're gonna overtake the US. And the US like, huh? Or you want to play, huh? So they started putting tariff and roadblocks, and Japan are like, let's just talk about it. That's why the economy became stagnant because
mhm.
of. But China is smart about it. China saw the play, but then they didn't really calculate it well. You know,
Mm.
they don't have enough friends in the world that share the same agenda. They have a lot of friends that want to benefit from them, but they don't have the
They don't
same
have
quality of,
powerful friends.
aha.
Not
You
enough
know,
powerful friends. If for like to say Europe or Germany were to side with them, they would be powerful enough.
yeah, they'll be
All right,
powerful.
but they didn't get any big boys to side with them because if they have Germany or something on their side, then they could manufacture the wafers to
Yeah,
make the chips. But you don't have any of those key players on your side, you messed up. You don't even have Taiwan.
yeah, that's true. So that's gonna be their main problem. So I think, yeah, going forward, hopefully I don't know, I can't tell them what to do, but hopefully they see the road from like 100 miles away and probably change course and just tone it down, just you've survived so long for just toning it down, not like starting no wars, not going to no trade wars, just tone it down and develop, tone it down. And you've been able to, they said they've taken over 250 million people out of poverty, no, 800 million people out of poverty by keeping quiet and just producing the shirts that people want.
Well, Trump, if there's one thing he doesn't do,
Yeah.
is lose a fight.
Yeah, nah, like
You're
that.
gonna come out as a winner. So
Yeah, so
good luck to them on that one.
yeah,
As we
so
talk about Trump, I also want to talk about Doge. You
okay.
heard of a guy, Elon Musk, left Doge, man.
Yeah.
Apparently, he's disappointed with the Trump bill.
Yeah, it's a Trump's a big, beautiful bill. Yo, Trump, where does he come with his names? Big, beautiful bill. Trump is just crazy.
you, but you agree with that, or you feel like they're just making Elon the fall guy? Because when Elon was there, it seemed like they were going hard on the breakdown of the excess spending. And
Yeah.
I remember at one point in time, Elon was saying something on some part about, if I dig too deep into this thing, my life might be at risk. I
Yeah.
saw something like that. It was like, because there's so many like unaccounted for transactions.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like they just use that as an excuse to get him out.
Yeah.
And the people who have to remain in the shadows stay in the shadows.
Yeah. Everybody knew Elon was full of shit from the beginning because
Mm,
USAID is the propaganda tool of the US government.
mhm,
Right. So where they give HIV medicine, paracetamol, and everything. It's a goodwill arm of the US government. People know they do a lot of bad things in different countries, but still a lot of time they do a lot of good than bad. Right. So for you to start cost cutting with USAID, that make no sense to nobody because that's just like 1.2% of the whole fucking, how would I put it, government spending.
mhm.
80% is the military industrial complex, which you don't want to touch at all. So he's touching this low level 2% government bills and just leaving 60%. The pharmaceutical, another 40, weapon manufacturing, big business. His pension, he's not touching the big businesses. He's just playing with like the low level. So everybody's like, what is this guy doing? So when he got a lot of criticism. So he said, okay, the next one is gonna be, we're gonna start looking at the military. And they were like, look at what? Nah, we are not looking at no military, bro. That was when you realize, oh, they played me for a fool from the beginning. Yeah. So like now we are not looking at no military.
It
And
got a
Trump,
little bit of it got a little bit of power, but you don't have all that
nah,
power.
that's what Trump did. Trump upped the military spending by extra 2.5%.
So all the work he did was for the military.
All the work the cost from the USAID.
But
Yo,
I,
they played him.
I, I, I thought they were supposed to like use that money to pay off the debt.
No, they
They ain't
used
paying off no debt.
they use that cost cutting from USAID and this other bullshit arenas to prompt up the military industrial complex. So he's looking at these things like, oh, these people played me for a fool. Somebody should have, like, even Steve Wonder could have seen that kind of like, yo, Elon, you don't want to get into bed with the pigs. You're gonna get dirty, you know. And yeah, it's like he got a memo. It's like, nah, man, it's not worth it, man. It's
Yeah,
not
I
worth
could
it.
see I could see he was pissed
Yeah,
because when he did that, he suffered a lot for it. Like his
yeah,
Tesla and all of this, he go through It's like they make him the scapegoat for everything that went wrong in
Yeah,
the US. And then after, okay, now you have to go back and build back your community. How do you do that?
I do. And guess what, CJ? Elon is brilliant but stupid at the same time, right? The the Republican Party never liked him. Elon was a Democrat guy because before Tesla became very big, GE, Ford, all these big companies in the US, these diesel, kerosene, petrol manufacturing companies were against EVs. So they started lobbying hard against Tesla. It was Obama that actually saved Tesla. Obama was like, "Nah, I need EV." So they started pumping a lot of money into Elon, started giving him contracts, and they were like, "Okay, So it used to be a propaganda. Democrats drive EV, real Americans drive diesel engines, right? So that used to be, and they've helped you build, even though the Democrats have like a weird policy, but they help you, at least help you build your company to this stature, you know. So if I'm him, I would have like, if even I wanted to donate to Donald Trump, I would have done that in the shadows. You
But
remember
then
what
again,
is that?
but then again, put it like this: if he donated to the Democrats, there'd be more gays running around too.
Yeah, yeah. You remember what Michael Jordan said? They were like,
Uh,
"Yo, man, why don't you say something about how would I put it? Uh Something about a Republican." They were like, they tried to just fuck with his brand. It's like, no, Republican buy sneakers too. Because the Democrats wanted to pitch him against the Republicans so that he criticized them. It's like, nah, they also buy my shoes. You are not the only people that buy my shoes. So since then, people became like, nah, we are not going to trick this guy into talking bad about any other political
yeah,
party.
I
But
ain't picking sides, man. I ain't picking
yeah, I'm
sides.
taking no side. Elon should have stayed there, man. Elon should have just do things in
Mm.
the shadows, you know.
But it's okay though. If since that happened, right, and he learned this, you could see like you feel hurt.
Yeah, he said.
So
I think
if this thing continue to go that way, like because he also say like in Trump's bill, he's not even like given equal opportunity for clean energy. And you know, Elon's whole car and Tesla thing is
yeah,
all about clean energy. So if that's how it goes in the end, it's like, oh, well, he made some money from the whole campaign shit. It's just that in the end, he's gonna flip. You know, he
yeah,
could always change sides.
yeah. But
People,
he's
people,
lost a lot of
people
money.
ain't gonna. You know, you're gonna lose some money, but people will always understand. You know, you're making a mistake. You admit it, and
Yeah,
he leave because he leave on his own accord. It's not like to
yeah,
say they fired
yeah,
him. It's
yeah.
like, you know what? I don't believe in this. I'm gonna get out now.
Yeah. But that's helping. I saw his video today. Was the SpaceX call? They had a
Mm.
call today. He looks a little slimmer, and I think somebody punched him in the face because he's a little cut here too. You know.
Gee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he probably went down swinging, you know, because it seemed like him and the I think that guy is the vice president, the guy who's always talking on the media about the
Oh, JD
budget or
Vance.
whatever. I don't know his name, but
JD
he wears
Vance.
glass. Yeah, maybe. But the guy who's like the front of Doge right now, or who's dealing with Doge, it seems like those two had a standoff in some way.
He's in the government.
Yeah, he's in the government. He always
Oh,
wear a suit and tie.
oh, okay. Oh, Scott Bassett, the trade secretary.
Yeah, he always on the media. Everything going on with China and stuff, he always there. I
Oh,
don't
yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah,
the
yeah.
name.
Yeah, that's the treasury. That's the head of the treasury,
Yeah,
Bassett.
that guy. It seemed like him and Elon had some harsh words.
Yeah, and
You can
then
tell that there's there's a different energy between them, because even when they ask him question about, okay, what is going to happen with Doge, you say like, yeah, Elon is gone, but Doge will continue,
Yeah.
and they were like, what about the people who used to work for Elon and blah 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 blah? If it were you, would you still have hired them?
Yeah.
It's like asking, you could tell like there's some
Yeah.
tension between those two, bro.
When when the tariff was announced on China, Elon was the first person to comment on X. He's like, this guy is dumb. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Mm.
And putting tariff on China is just dumb and stupid. And I understand why Elon did that, because he had to sell Tesla in China. So
Yeah, but apart from that,
yeah,
it's like honestly, it's kind of dumb too, because they're like a divorced couple, and you
yeah,
have a kid together.
yeah. Who has it? Who's gonna have the baby, huh?
It's like you have a kid together. It's like if I mess you up, it's like I'm messing myself up,
Yeah, that's
because
true.
less money for the family.
Yeah, it's
Although
wild.
the money doesn't go directly to you, but it's like you're hurting the same family, because at the end of the day, you have to take care of the same kid.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
that's how their relationship
it's
is.
wild. It is really wild. It is really wild because it's even with the trade, the ban on the 25% on Apple products, and they were like, okay, move production from China, and Apple is like, okay, cool, we're gonna move it to India, and Trump is like, huh, India? Man, F India. We like these people, but we don't want our phone in India. We want our phone in the US. And the guy is like, now we can't do the US, because if we do in the US, an iPhone is gonna be like 10,000. And Trump is like, we don't care. We have the money to pay for it. If you do the thing in India, we're gonna put 25% on you. So it's better if after the 25, it's still gonna be 10,000 anyway. So you better. So this whole trade thing, man, I really don't know. I really don't know, because it was it was the same executives that decided it's cheaper to manufacture in China, so they move everything.
But then they could do it though,
Ye-
because if you realize, when they make an iPhone,
Yeah,
they always make the iPhone with the best set of tech and the best set of stuff in the US first.
yeah,
So they could probably change and normally an iPhone this generation, like let's say this is the 16, the latest one. When the 16 come out, the 17 is almost ready.
Oh, you got a new
These
one?
guys, no, I ain't get that, man. I still got my old little one.
Oh,
I just took the case off.
okay, okay,
Yeah, to do that thing. So it's just
okay.
like, what I'm just saying is that what they could start doing, put the latest version of the iPhone with all the gadgets,
Yeah.
push it out in the US. And then the
Mm-hmm.
ones that you sell in China is a lower down model.
Yeah. China is not gonna have that, man.
They're going to buy it still, because it's still going to be better than whatever they're going to sell in China at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The whole point is that way you can make up a price for the 10,000. You can find a way to say, oh, this is why it's 10,000, and this is why theirs is like 1,000. But we
Yeah.
also have, if you guys want the 1,000 one, you can fly to China and buy it.
That's true.
or get it when it's imported on top of tariffs. So
Yeah, I think US shot themselves in the foot. I don't know about your country, but in Ghana, if
mm,
if the minimum wage is, let's say, $2, and they were like, oh, we can manufacture it in Ghana because the minimum wage is $2. A lot of Ghanaians are gonna raise their hand. It's like, oh, we'll do it for 50 cents. But in the US, you can't do that. It's against the law to actually pay somebody below the minimum wage.
below minimum wage.
I'm like, that is just dumb. Why
That's
do you have
demo-
all this illegal in your country anyway? Put them to
that's
work.
democratic policies, man.
Yo, it's just
Democratic
dumb, man.
policies. So right
This,
now they're pushing companies like Apple to start having some black sites in the
yeah,
US
yeah,
where
that's
illegals come to work. But then when they get caught, it's like
There's
they're gonna
no
make the news. But they
yo,
can't do it now because like they always talk about China and the Uyghurs.
yeah,
You doing that is like you make yourself no less than the
but
so-called
yeah,
statement you make about China and the
yeah,
Uyghurs. So you gotta leave that alone.
yeah. You gotta leave that alone. Even Apple is saying like manufacturing phone in the US is out of the picture. We can't do it.
Mhm.
And Apple was the first same company that transferred everything to Foxconn in China. I'm like,
Mhm.
these people, these executives just want a cheaper route, man. So I really don't get it. I really do
Okay.
not get it. So uh Trump is on a war path with all companies, man. Everybody, you know. Yeah, he just finished one with Amazon because Amazon started reflecting. They said, okay, yesterday the price was $2 because of Donald Trump tariff is now $7. And what they did was they write two on every product, they write two plus tariff 7. So just to let you know, Amazon is not fucking you off, you know.
It's Trump. Woo!
Yeah.
Trump will
And
be like, take that sign down.
yeah, Trump got pissed. He said, yeah. Oh, he said, Jeff Bezos is not a nice guy. I thought he was nice. I had to call him and he said he'll get everything back to normal because he has to eat the tariff. American citizens don't have to eat the tariff. I'm like, oh, you're telling a company that he has to eat the tariff. What about the US government eat the tariff? This shit is crazy. Yeah, Trump. I think what I've realized from Trump, I think he just wakes up and the first thing that comes to his mind is the first thing he goes with, you know. It's like, okay, today this is what we are doing, you know. So that's exactly what we are doing, you know.
Well,
This guys,
you gotta respect that though. A
yeah, that's
man with a
true.
will. A
Yeah,
man with a will.
yeah, that's
Anyway,
true.
I wanna share this one with you. If
Okay,
if you're done with this topic.
yeah, yeah, go for it. Let me just get the bottle.
All right, you can see the screen.
No.
Wait, let me go. What's going on? It doesn't show.
Oh, hold on. Let me just add it to stage. It's in the
Oh,
background.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah. So this weekend I was online
yeah,
and I saw this. I don't know if the audio is gonna come true, but I'm gonna try to play it.
yeah. China is out of control. Yo, the referee has some ball just standing there, man. He has some ball just standing there.
Yeah, because you probably get.
Yo, this is crazy. And why are they even wearing headgear, by the way? Look at the ref. Look at the ref. Yo, man.
Yo,
China is out of control.
yo,
Yo, why did
this is
they put a headgear on them though? Like, why they are afraid of CTE or head damage? You're like, this is crazy, bro. Yeah,
they're
China's
selling the image, bro. They're selling the image,
yo, China's out of control.
Yo,
Yo,
this is the future of boxing, bro.
yeah, hell no. I hope we don't get there. Yo, like they're enjoying. I'm like, yo, this is nasty, bro. This is really nasty work. Give
That's
them,
the future.
yo, and then guess what? You know how they market it as? Have you seen the marketing behind it?
Nah, I didn't watch your marketing.
Oh, bro, the first combat by AI, then robots, first robot boxing match competition ever held in the world. and China. This shit was wild. It was all over X.
Oh yeah, that's where I saw it.
Yeah, that's why
where
the
I
ref
saw it.
is all dressed up and people were standing around like, yo, these people.
But you know what? You know what I realized though?
What?
The robot seemed like it was being controlled by a person.
I'm sure too.
Because if you watch the video again, let me just put it back.
When they got up, right?
Like I saw a guy holding a controller.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Look right here.
Hold on,
See that?
Oh, the
Like
guy in
right
black.
here.
Oh,
Yeah, the guy in black. He's holding a controller in his hand.
I thought that was
Standing right next to the next guy. It's like,
Why is
it's
he
like
not
he's
even
playing a
hiding?
video game. So I think like although they had this fight, it's not completely AI controlled. It's like it's controlled by someone else.
Yeah.
But it was fun for me to watch though. But it
Yeah.
made me start wondering, what if like one of that was powered by Grok?
Oh, and Elon is like hit the ref in the head.
Yo, that would be awesome, bro.
Yeah,
That would be crazy. But even and the next thing what I like about it, you see how the robot fell down?
and just got up.
No, not just how he get up. It's like, oh, he fell down. He found a spot. He fell down. It's like its legs, man.
Oh, the
Look
legs.
at that shit. Look at this
the leg or
shit.
something.
Look at this shit. Yo, that's a weird way to fall, man.
Yeah, those are some crab legs.
Yo, when I saw that, I was like, he really got knocked the F out, you know.
Shit is wild. Shit is wild. Shit is wild. Yeah, it was all over social media, man. China don't play.
So imagine if you start fighting wars that way too.
Yeah, that'll be wild. That'll be wild. Yeah, but hopefully they don't turn, because I'll never be a ref in out, like hell no. Yeah, these people lose their man.
Well,
I think the ref understand what was going on, so he was not even scared.
Well, I think it's a she though.
Oh, it's a she?
Yeah, it's a she.
Yeah. Yeah, she understood the assignment, so she was not worried of getting punched by this. Yeah. You know,
if a robot punch you, it ain't gonna be fun.
Even though they are wearing the glove, it's not gonna be fun at all.
Something might just break right away, man.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is crazy. But this just opened a whole kind of worms, though. Somebody's just thinking about the next competition is going to have somewhere. Somebody's already started plotting, started designing the website and the gambling site, and
this is the next level of gambling. Because if you do this, if you could have like two proper robots, the ref is going to be a robot too.
Yeah.
Or the ref is going to be like, you remember last time when you have boxing, right? You told me there's this machine above the ring that can count the number of punches and all these things. It's going to be all computerized. They ain't going to have anybody in the ring. Because once that go up to the next level, it's not going to be safe for somebody to be in the ring.
Yeah, they just brought Transformers back into the real life, man. This is Transformers in real life. This is wow. This is really, really wow. This is really, really wow. This is crazy. Damn. Anyway, China, man.
Gotta love it, man. But at least they're trying something.
Yeah, you gotta
at least they can say they were first to that one.
Yeah, nobody can take that away. Yo, but you know who has the craziest country of all in terms of crazy sports is Russia. What did I see the other day? They had a boxing match where they were in a big van, but then the van is like a trailer. with no no fence or whatever, like side edges or nothing, and they were just fighting. Whoever falls down is the loser. I'm like, these people, and the car is driving on the main highway. These people are crazy. Russia has some of the worst sports in the world, man. They have the worst sports in the world. Sometimes it could be like 5 ladies against one guy. Shit is wild. Russia is the worst, but China comes no close near these people. And I saw one where they had like a bear, a big old black bear in the middle of the ring, and the guys are just fighting. I'm like, yo, Russia just come out. Oh, yo, hold on. Let me see what I can see that video. They had a one where they were using
bear in the ring and people fighting.
Yeah. Oh, they had one where they were using real swords. Hold on, man. Let me see. Let me go on X. You got to see this. Russian fight with hold on. Where is the search button? Russian cage fight with weapons. With weapons. Cage MMA fight with what? These people were using real weapons. These people were crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that thing? Oh, here it is. How do I put here? Let me see.
You're gonna have to put it in the same browser, just a different tab.
Oh yeah, I want to see the let me see. Yeah.
Other than that, if you have an image, or you could upload it.
The only one bad thing about not using a VPN is you become an ad connoisseur. You just start watching ads like a motherfucker.
So the VPN helps with the ads a bit, huh?
Yeah. Every 2 minutes they give you an ad.
But I realized recently YouTube has been giving me a lot of ads when I'm watching a video, bro. Like every minute or so is like whoosh, yeah, an ad come in. Whoosh, an ad come in. Like, and a lot of times it's the same goddamn ad. Piss me off.
Yeah.
It's like I could basically memorize the guy's words, you know, they brainwash me.
Yeah. Can you see?
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
That's Russia. They do some weird shit like this. So let me just fast forward that.
It's like WWE, huh?
No, MMA, but with weapons. Russia is weird.
So this guy has his sword. So has anyone get chopped and lose an arm or anything?
Yeah, I saw one video. Somebody got bad. You can see the blood coming from the helmet. I'm like, hell no, these people are out of control.
Okay, skip to the fight, man. Let's skip the intro. Let's see them do something. And the ref is still in the middle there.
He's also has his own thing, man.
Exchanging too. That's
I haven't seen this this time around. Sparks.
No,
I haven't seen that today.
It's hard to see sometimes with these lights.
The lights are. We do have a new light system.
Yeah. All these swords have been freshly ground.
Teeps. Both those guys were doing teeps at the same time. Wow.
Ooh. I've not kicked someone's thighs at the same time. Yeah?
Oh shit.
Oh, beautiful. Big shots.
Big shot from us.
That was a hook.
That was nice.
But they don't fight like people who want to kill each other, though.
Nah, yeah, that's true. unless the violence get deeper.
Because you know, like you could literally stab the person at that angle with the sword, you know. But they're
Yeah.
just trying to beat the person with the sword. It's like they have some rules though of
Yeah, I
how
think.
you use it.
Yeah,
You
I
see,
think they
because
have
you're
some.
only slapping the. It's like someone is like that. You could, you
Yeah, you
know,
can just kick the knife into him. Oh yeah, the
yeah, it's
ref
just
is
like,
get up.
yeah. So it's different though. It's different. There's still some rules.
Yeah. Russia,
Well,
Russia
that's
always,
wild though.
yeah. They always Russia always come with some weird games, man. Hold on, Russian weird sports, Russian weird fighting. Hold on,
They
is
just
that?
like to fight, huh?
Yeah, they just like weird fighting, man. Yeah, this was one man against five girls.
There's
All right.
one big fat man too.
Look at this.
Mm.
You see the art, man.
Fighting with big arm. Who the hell is his arm like this, man?
He injected a typhoid just to just to gain it's the effect of the they call it
A, dr-
syntadol.
a drug, right?
Yeah, drugs just to get big, and then that's the side effect.
So what he? So that means using drugs is legal in this fight.
Yeah, but that guy's already fucked up, so there's nothing he can do. But it's only air, it's not muscle, you know. Yeah.
So why would you do that to yourself, though?
Yeah, that's Russia, man. These people, after some few votes, look at the guy's face too. He's
So it's
like,
like freaks, a
oh,
freak showdown.
oh, there's this one is called the freak show. Oh, good, like they have
Because
the
this
fight.
guy looked like a guy that I know in Mortal Kombat. They call him Baraka.
Okay.
His face goes all the way back.
Russia is just weird, man.
Yeah, but big muscle guy ain't doing anything. He running
Nah.
more than anything. You know, when
Russia.
he came in the ring, I thought he would have had problems moving his arms because he was like,
Okay. Because it's not
he was,
muscle, it's only air that
man, some people are crazy, man.
yeah.
Some people are crazy.
Apparently he's very famous in Russia. My roommate was telling me he's really famous down there.
I hope he has a healthy life because to me,
He's done. I
don't want to know what the side effects of that will be, because you know when you do things like that on your body, when you get older, that's when you start feeling the side effects, you know?
Yeah. Russia, man. That's Russia, man. These people just they just I think that's the only way they can get like the world's attention by fighting like weird fights. So, oh, hold on. Russian fights in the car. Hold on. Oh, hold on. This will get your Russian fight in. Oh, have you seen a phone booth too? Hold on. Hold on. If there's one, the phone booth, they put like, they hang it in the air.
Oh, that's crazy though. Whoa, that one is a cool fight because there's no
Can you see?
like, yeah, I'm seeing it. There's no hiding there. There's
No.
no running away. It's like it's either I knock you out fast or I'm gonna pay the price.
Yeah.
This one is wild. This one is action. Yo, This is
He
this
knocked
is
the guy
the
out cold.
this is the future. That one is the future of boxing, man. You see how fast the guy got knocked out?
Yeah. Russia, man.
And he got disciplined, you know. It's like after that, you don't even want anything else. There's nothing to say.
Yo,
There's never gonna be a draw.
nah. There's one where they hang the people in on top of a river, like a deep river, and then they were hanging. It's like they hang in a crane. So if you lose and the person knocks you out, nothing is protecting you from falling up like 100 meters up straight into the river. I'm like, Russia, man. Russian fight above water or river or something like that. I saw this video. Oh yeah, this one.
Oh.
Hey, hold on. I
Oh.
think it's this one.
Yes,
Russians, man. This is just Russian.
when someone really hates you, they throw you overboard.
Yeah, this is just Russian, man. They just like this crazy shit.
Oh, knockout, right?
Yeah.
The referee trying to pull up the fat guy.
Yeah, Russia is just
God.
weird, man.
Yo, that's cool. The two of them go down together. And the ground look like it's slippery. It's like it's
Yeah,
wet or
because there's
something.
water on the head.
And because it's in the middle of the air, it's like the ground is not very balanced, you know?
Yeah.
It's always bouncy.
Russia
But
just
but
like this weird fight.
but
And
those two are nice though. The container and the phone booth. I like that.
yeah.
That'll be
Oh,
fun to
see the
watch because
Russian
that
fight.
that'll
Russian
definitely be fun to watch.
okay. In a moving, is it a moving van or car? Yo, these people, man, they just come up with some weird hold on. I think hold on. Oh, can you see?
Oh, yeah, I could see it. But honest, it's not all that. The
Yeah,
container and the phone booth is better.
yeah,
There's
that's
not to say the truck, there's no railings around it, like they
yeah.
could fall out and eat up the street. Oh, yo, if it was like that, yo,
Russians, man. Russians are just these people, man. They just God, man. They are just different crops of people. Nobody on God's green earth is like them, it's weird.
Shit.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yo,
before we go, I have one last thing I want to talk about.
okay.
Uh, you know about like every year they tend to have like these Bitcoin conference and stuff.
The
You
one
know about
is
that?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. So basically they had the Bitcoin conference um maybe a few days ago. I don't know exactly when it happened because I'm
Was
not
is
like
it still in Miami?
yeah, I think it's either Miami or LA.
Yeah,
It's
it
like
is.
every year they do it in different places, but they do it in those like big boy places
Yeah,
where they can maybe find some maybe investors or people with deep pockets. So then they had this guy on the conference. You should know him, Peter Lichin or Lynch.
Oh, Peter
Peter,
Lynch. Oh, is
yeah,
it Till
Peter
or
Lynch.
Lynch?
Lynch.
Okay. Okay.
So they brought him on the show and having him to talk about like Bitcoin. You know him, like he against Bitcoin. He
Okay.
100% against
Yeah.
Bitcoin. And they also like so just to summarize
Oh,
what he was saying, like
I thought you had a video.
to summarize his points. I don't have a video because I didn't
Oh,
like download it. I kind of like that
okay.
conference is like 9 hours long, bro. 9 hours. I'm like, I
Shit.
haven't even finished watching it, but
Yeah.
like they ask him, like, what is his view on Bitcoin? And he was like, Bitcoin depends on new buyers. Price
Yeah,
goes up with new money.
yeah, that's true.
Bitcoin doesn't generate yield or earnings like stocks. Can't be valued using traditional fundamentals. It's
Okay,
basically speculation, volatility, which makes it dangerous.
okay.
So my question is, what do you think? Is Bitcoin a Ponzi or just technology people don't fully understand yet? What would you say?
I think it's a technology people haven't fully understood yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to take a while uh, for it to. I think it just takes like a getting used to, and
Mm-hmm.
the utility, especially the utility aspect of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So with more utilization, and it's weird now because even the founder of Binance is now saying China and the US are printing more money to buy all the cryptos, and I'm like, that's
That's
weird.
that's the next point, like what I wanted to talk about later.
Yes,
Bitcoin was basically built upon the idea or the concept that we want transparency.
yeah,
We don't want like to be getting IOUs, like to be owning IOUs. We don't want to be like you know, having assets that we don't even own. We really don't own it and no one is tracking it, and the government can't just print as much as they want. But
yeah,
right now what I'm seeing going on basically with like especially in the US,
yeah,
Trump planned to create a Bitcoin reserve.
yeah,
Now, they still have the debt that they're supposed to pay. They still like, okay, we're gonna pay this out first and then create the Bitcoin reserve. We want to create a Bitcoin reserve first, and then we're gonna worry about the debt later. So that's like one like kind of
yeah,
thing that I feel like is kind of like unjust in some way because your debt threshold is already to another level,
yeah,
and it's like it's not to say that they will suffer for it. It's the people of the economy that would suffer for it. So that goes against the whole ideology of Bitcoin. The next thing is like guys like MicroStrategy. He believes in Bitcoin.
Sailor,
Yeah, Sailor. He buys a ton of Bitcoin, but in the conference it was like, when are you going to show proof of your reserves?
yeah,
Like to show like with all this Bitcoin you have been accumulating via the ETFs.
yeah,
Basically, he find a way to take Bitcoin and turn it into another IOU because there's no proofs and the people don't even have access to those keys. So it's like, did you really buy the Bitcoin or did you take our money and do something else with it?
yeah. Because I when the COVID came and crypto Bitcoin shrunk to 16,000, and there was a lot of corporate push for investors to get their money back. Michael Saylor, Cathy Wood, they all, I don't know where they got the money from,
Mm-hmm.
but they were able to pay their investors. And he's saying he's keeping he's keeping he's keeping the Bitcoin and he's buying more Bitcoin, but at the same time he's paying off the investors, which doesn't make no more, like, it doesn't really make sense because
Unless he's leveraging Bitcoin.
yeah,
So
and
if you're leveraging Bitcoin, then it's still not your Bitcoin. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like, so
yeah,
people are still getting Bitcoin type IOUs.
yeah,
So these guys, basically, they were saying that the reason why we stopped buying fiat or we stopped buying the US dollar was basically to get away from all of that. But what
yeah,
I'm seeing with all these ETFs and then the government coming into play is like it turned the whole Bitcoin thing into a kind of a bigger,
like
like a
yeah,
big Ponzi.
yeah. Once the
As
ETF
long,
hit the market, I remember during my bachelor's, I owned a lot of gold ETFs from ICBC.
Mhm.
But those motherfuckers only have the gold. But they were trading the gold ETFs with the London gold reserves just using the like their value system. It move, my money move. It goes down, my money goes down. But then, if you want to close your account, they're supposed to ask you, because opening the account, they tell you if you want to close, you have the option of taking the fiat currency or taking the gold, right? But, but when you go to close the account, you don't have no options like that anymore. That's what I realized. The non-gold producing countries that came out with the ETFs, right? Just to fuck up with the gold producing one. That's once ETFs entered the crypto space, I'm like, oh, here we go again.
Yes, I see these guys are doing it like that, and to me, it's like that whole idea of what Bitcoin was built on is gone. And you know,
Yeah,
once that ETF comes in, you know what's going to happen? These guys are going to jack the price up of Bitcoin so high that people would. Bitcoin is already high, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
the
yeah,
higher it is, the more impossible it is for someone to own one.
yeah,
So what they're going to do? They're going to buy the ETF
yeah,
because it's like the price is way throughout the roof, and the ETF make it much more affordable for
yeah,
people to buy it. Although Bitcoin is sold in fractions, but you know what? I feel like these guys, the way they're doing this, it makes it look like a Ponzi. So although like Peter Lynch, when he came and he talked all this stuff about Bitcoin and whatever, I feel like it make a lot of sense in terms of right now. The only reason we keep buying Bitcoin is the same reason why we keep using fiat. We believe in it.
yeah. And
So so far, because of belief, it can be used as like a currency, something that we could, you know, because as long as tomorrow someone wakes up and believe in it, I could give it to him,
yeah,
and he will accept it. But
yeah,
if you really think about it, so far they say Bitcoin is like gold, but it doesn't give us the value like gold, because of gold, they say like you can use it as a jewelry,
yeah,
and they use it in the satellites, they use it in in some medical
yeah.
places, so it still has some
You had it.
uses, but it has some utility. But currently with Bitcoin, what I understand, yeah, it's a hash, it's
Yeah,
a very encrypted hash, but there's no way for me to use that hash to protect something of mine.
nah.
I
That was
can't say
why
I'm
in the beginning, if you look at online the pictures, you see like Bitcoin B, and then you see it on a gold coin, right? And that scam started around 2013, 2014, where they started aggressively. I don't know where the campaign came from, aggressively comparing Bitcoin
the
to
digital gold to gold.
gold. What the people started doing is some Bitcoin started coming in gold form,
Hmm.
right? Somebody
Like
just,
coins.
yeah, like coin, just to fuck up the whole market. And it got to a point, people were like, nah, this is just some BS. After the what's the name? The Silk Road guy got arrested, and they found a
Hmm.
bunch of coin.
FTX.
No, the Silk Road guy.
Silk Road. Oh, okay.
And then when he was arrested, they found those same coins with a B on it. And people were like, oh no, no, we can't have this no more. I thought this shit was secret no more. Nah, the government has access to everything. Mm. So it's gonna be useful in the future, but it's not gonna attain full utility because government still want to have the ability to print currency. Nobody wants Bitcoin to be their dominant trading value system for their country. Where do you get where do you print it? You don't have enough energy or whatever, right?
So that's
Yeah,
what I'm seeing right now. It's like the only these government organizations realize that people are believing in Bitcoin and they can't stop it. So
yeah,
what they're starting to do now is like, okay, we're not going to stop them, but we're going to distract them.
yeah.
They start doing a lot of different stable coins and this like that. So it's like people, instead of you're holding
The
the
Bitcoin.
digital Bitcoin, you start holding the digital fiat, and
Yeah,
then they're they pull up all the other companies like the Ethereum and the Solana and these things. Honestly, I see those as basically companies that operate digitally.
Yeah,
There's basically no decentralization because a centralized company is basically funding the whole project.
yeah. And
The
and
de-
and what's the name? The Vitalik. He used to write for Bitcoin.com and write for these blogs until he decided, oh, once he was able to create Ethereum, and I'm like, oh shit, that was in early 2015.
Mhm.
I'm like, oh, this shit is just a mess now. And
Yeah.
everybody started creating their own. I'm like,
But
oh,
that
yeah,
part is okay because basically you just think about it like this. His thing is more like a company on the chain, right? There's no problem with a company on the chain, right? It makes it like maybe easier for people to invest in a company or have more transparency in the company. But the only thing is just that they're not posting company records.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like company like activity like compiled or whatever. Maybe somebody else was gonna come up with that idea for a new chain activity to, but what I'm just seeing is like the future, every company is gonna be on chain, and
yeah,
that's how we're gonna operate because it makes it easier for government to even monitor everything.
yeah,
But the whole thing what I'm seeing right now with this whole thing that Peter Lynch point out is like so far Bitcoin has no use case more
nah,
than belief. And probably the other use case it has is like as a little bit of a hedge or a gauge
yeah,
because the more that these guys print, the more expensive Bitcoin gets. But right now, the price of Bitcoin is way past
yeah.
the
Level.
value of what they printed, you know? So it's like we're buying futures now, we're buying IOUs.
Yeah, he's right.
You're buying
He's
IOUs right now. He was like, if I bought Bitcoin at $10 when I first known about it, I would be happy. But
yeah,
now at this prices,
nah, yeah, nah, nah. A lot
but
of people.
he made a lot of sense. I would buy gold. He even talked about maybe buying digital gold. But then why you telling me with the digital gold is another way to get into an IOU problem?
Yeah, yeah. Unless, because what they lie to you about is like, okay, like in from my experience with China, they were like, okay, you can have the real gold, but you have to pay for storage. So storage is going to be expensive. So hence the ETFs. And then we're like, okay, cool. So what if you close in the account? You're like, yeah, we can just because the government has at that point they said government has a hold on how much gold every citizen can hold.
Mm.
So the ETFs allow you to buy more. I think around that time it's like one is it 1 ounce or 10 kg or some weird number like that. So
Mm-hmm.
they just messed up the rule that you can hold gold, and they still have storage is expensive, and the government has a hold on how much you can. So ETFs are the way out. But then, if you want to move out and you want to close your account, we just give you the gold, and that's your problem now. You just have to sign a few documents. I'm like, cool. You know, that never happened. You know, yeah. So it is weird because
So mm-hmm. Yeah,
if
go on.
I understand that because if because according to research, it's like the amount of gold that has been dug out from the earth will not fill one football stadium like NFL stadium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so just imagine if everybody wants to have a piece, So yes, yeah, I understand. But gold will be like a much better storage of value than even if yeah.
So when he talked about that, it made a lot of sense why at the end of the day, these people have gold.
Yeah.
But if you're young and broke, bro, don't
Gold
buy
is
the gold, buy the
yeah.
Bitcoin,
Yeah.
because who knows, man? Who knows?
Yeah, because gold,
You
you
still,
cannot
that
buy
way you
gold to
stand
get
a
money.
chance. You
Yeah.
still you stand a chance. If you broke, it's best to buy the Bitcoin because
Yeah.
you're playing with a casino. But
Yeah.
if you buy the gold will just be just the gold,
Sitting,
man.
yeah, just sitting there. You have to buy a gun just to protect it. Tell a friend you have a don't do that shit. Like,
But not only that too, the gold it goes up in value, but it goes up slower compared to the Bitcoin.
yeah, very slow.
Yeah,
But
and to
what
me,
I realize about gold is how much somebody is willing to pay for it.
mhm,
Because especially in Ghana, where a lot of the refined golds are once gold is refined from like wholesale refineries, what they do is they just add a lot of, they call it tritium. So that's why
mhm.
a lot of gold, if you see, they say okay, 90 point or maybe 99.2% fine gold. Because once they start refining the gold, what they do is they start adding a lot of chemicals to it. So it's really hard to get like 99.9% fine gold.
Mhm.
Right. So but then if you have it like, that's why in Ghana, people, if the gold is shining, nobody's buying. They need to see some dirt in it. Like, so with those raw gold, the value is how much somebody is willing to pay for it.
Oh, okay, the
Yes,
one
the
straight from
market
the
value.
earth.
Yeah, yeah. So
Well,
the market value can be
what?
like 20 on the stock, that you can sell it for 100.
Okay,
Yeah.
you guys can actually get gold from the earth. I never saw gold from the earth in my life.
Oh, really?
I was never even able to see that. I only see gold from the jewelry store, bro.
Okay. Okay. So
Oh wow. These are the times you're living in, and I think there's gonna be a lot more people like me in the future.
yeah.
You probably only see gold on the web, you know.
Yeah. So unless you turn your own gold into jewelry, they once you buy, like, these people are just adding like tritium to it and uh just mess up the fine print part of it. So most jewelries are like maybe 80% pure.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All
Unless
right.
you do it yourself, nah. You know. That's why China is like, hell no, man. China is just taking over Africa just for the gold now, man. Just dag it out, bring it back to China, dag it out, bring it back to China. They're going hard on the gold now. That's why Trump is like, mm, Trump is crazy. He said, I have to go see whether the gold is still there. You don't know what Biden did with the gold. Hold on, let me see
So you
whether the
see that's the whole point. He say he go to see if the gold is there, and after that we never heard shit.
I hate
Th-
anything.
So it
I think
seems like
I realize
these
because
guys, right? These guys, right? They never show the proof. That
no,
is the biggest issue that people have with everything in the whole world today. Someone fucked up along the way and they just hiding it. Like with ETF, these guys don't want to show the proof. So this gold reserve is like another ETF where nobody shows the proof.
yeah, you know why, CJ? Because that's not US gold. US they have a lot of countries because of their military send their gold there just for storage, so you can't just go and say there's no gold. Trump is like, man, shit, I think we lost this shit, man. You know,
Hmm,
yeah, it's crazy, man. It is
hmm.
crazy. It
Yeah.
is crazy, so yeah, so hopefully, man, hopefully. But if you see some gold, man, just buy that motherfucker, man.
Okay. So would you own Bitcoin though?
Me, like, nah, that time has passed for me right now.
All
I
right.
recently I got like early on Bitcoin. early, man, early on Bitcoin. But China, man, we got early. We got fucked up. China closed the early 2014. China closed all the platforms.
Exchange.
Yeah, it closed all of them. So Richard lost some money. Everybody lost some money on it. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyway, I
yeah.
need to go. 'Cause I'm supposed to meet up with someone.
Oh shit.
You have something else to do?
Nah, it's cool. We'll do it next time. Yeah.
Although I had like one more piece to add to this,
Okay, just go for that
but
one.
El Salvador, the
Okay.
IMF, and
Yeah.
Bitcoin City.
Yeah.
What's your views?
Yeah, that was what got the guy elected, because the currency was like, the inflation hit. I think at one point the inflation was around 600% inflation. You want to buy bread, you need like 2 suitcases full of the El Salvadorian currency just to buy a loaf of bread. So once he came, he went to the central bank and took out, I think the first investment he did was $50 million. He bought crypto, he bought Bitcoin. And then the next fiscal year, he went to 100 million. And crypto, the time the country bought it, the crypto was around 25,000. And then he went to 14,000. So everybody's like, okay, I think we need to overthrow this guy. And then he's like, no, I'm going to make a lot of more investment with my money. So once COVID hit, he switched to, oh, you know what? We need to start arresting drug dealers now. So because people started complaining. So as to whether the country still hold their Bitcoin investments in, nobody knows, because he switched agenda from we're going to be the crypto capital of the world by installing ATMs everywhere. You want to buy coffee, you can buy coffee with crypto. He started, and which was good, but once COVID hit, he just switched. So I don't know whether he's still parroting those talking points.
But I know, like, he still have the Bitcoin, because recently he did a screenshot of it from his phone, like showing, oh, we're up 100%.
Okay.
Like showing off his Bitcoin, and people was like, you're not supposed to do that, right?
Yeah.
But what I find strange with him, right? Because he was planning to build his Bitcoin city and all these things, right? But then the IMF decided to shut down his bank loans because they have issues with him, like, using to buy Bitcoin and all these things. Like, they're talking about they basically froze one of the loans that he had. And in order to get that $1 billion loan, he basically had to pause his plan for his Bitcoin city. And then he had to stop promoting Bitcoin, like talking about it all the time, and basically like go into the shadows. But right now he still like does his little Bitcoin thing, but on the low profile. Right? But what I'm thinking now, isn't that kind of monetary standard like a double standard? Because Trump is planning to accumulate Bitcoin like crazy for the Federal Reserve. Why stop El Salvador from, like,
Trump is doing this
their
for his
own thing?
personal gain, man. Trump is doing this for his personal. Trump is having. He said, okay, if you buy my meme coin, you can't have dinner. A president, Trump is just accumulating as much money he can, because he lost a lot of. I think he lost half of his money trying to fight the government during the Biden administration. So he was actually going broke. So the crypto is his saving grace, So it's like, okay, you buy my crypto coin, you can't have dinner. That was just last week. A president having dinner with citizens that buys. Trump is just accumulating now, man.
Yeah, but it was like for the top 25. The seats are limited. The seats are limited. And the whole thing is like, even when you buy the meme coin, right? What he's not gonna make a big set of money from it because he's gonna make money from the trading fees. Because he still has to hold the asset in order for the asset to keep value. He can't
Yeah,
dump all of it.
yeah, but they are so like they are so, how would I put it? The way they did the thing is they've what everything is shared among the family, right? So nobody knows what Millennia holds, because once that thing jack up like 100% the night over, a lot of people sold. So, but Trump's record is still there, but nobody knows how much the family
Okay.
and everybody else.
Okay. I get you. I get you. I get you.
Yeah.
Well, make some money, man. You want to
Trump
meet the president? It's my
is-
dinner. I can have a dinner. I can do what I want.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
he ain't forced nobody to do it, right?
Nah, he
It's
didn't
up to
force
you.
nobody. But I
And it's
just
not to
told the
say like,
people, this is the best meme coin ever. I'm not gonna sell it. It's gonna go. It's gonna pass Bitcoin, and everybody like, oh, Trump bear.
yeah.
So yeah. So a lot of people bought it. People bought and sold. Man, Trump is a businessman to the core, man. You can't just, that guy is a businessman to the core.
What? You gotta love him, man. The
Yeah, you gotta
country is
love
a big business,
Yeah,
with a lot of power.
yeah.
And he being a businessman, as far as I'm seeing it, he's using it to the America's advantage.
He said,
It's
if
the
we don't
other
buy
people who is
Bitcoin,
suffering.
China will buy Bitcoin. Right. He said, if you don't buy it all, China is gonna buy it all, and then we're gonna be waiting, holding our dicks. Like, why did we allow China to buy it all? Yeah. And people was like, but yeah, he said,
But China doesn't want Bitcoin at all.
nah. China
China
have their
want this thing
own
to
digital
no,
yuan. China want to pump the digital
no.
yuan.
To me, China even want anything to do with Bitcoin. They want that thing to die.
Yeah. Yeah, China's been pumping the digital yuan crazy. Now I
But
think
if
that
China has a Bitcoin, it's gonna be like Japan exchange. It only
yeah,
stays in China. It doesn't go global.
yeah, yeah. Because if you realize that the most crypto billionaires, majority of them are Chinese citizens. Because after they run away from China with the people's money, those money became their money now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think they are coming back to China anytime soon. Anyway, so yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, the BRICS summit is, I think, next month. So China is gonna trying to push ahead just to get the UN into more trading baskets. So it ain't easy, man. It's not easy. So you have to go, right?
Yeah, I'm just checking out how far this place is though.
Oh,
Because
okay.
today it's raining, the traffic is gonna be crappy.
Shit. Yeah. Yeah,
Traffic.
tomorrow I'll
Yeah,
talk with the interactive brokers and I'll let you know how that goes.
yeah,
Mhm.
hopefully
Yeah.
hopefully they could send money. If they can't send money, all of this is just like
Yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
maybe Japan is not that appealing anymore.
Yeah, yeah, strict with how would I put it? They are more
Oh
uh, uh the system. Yeah,
wow.
they are really strict with that shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
fucking. And
Anyway, man.
all right, man.
Yeah, anyway, take care.
Talk to you
Guys,
tomorrow.
don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. We really appreciate your support.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be here without you guys. And yeah, go New York.
Yeah. Game 7. Tomorrow, game 6. No.
I think they're gonna rest tomorrow because they play today, the day
Oh,
after tomorrow, which
okay.
should be during the holiday. So most likely we'll be able to do a live.
Okay, I'll be around.
All right, cool. You guys have holiday too? Or
No,
it's just weekend?
it's just China thing.
Okay, so we have like a Dragon Boat Festival holiday. So,
Oh,
uh,
yes. Yeah, maybe
yeah. Anyway,
All right.
yeah. Take care, man. Bless.
All right. Adios, amigos.